So, what have we just been doing, Porky?
Well, we've just been doing 2 hours. What a shock to the system.
2 hours, yeah. It was very quick, wasn't it?
It was. It went like lightning, but then we had lots to talk about. It's a big football day, so now we're putting it into a podcast.
That's okay, and lots of people can now listen to it and download it, and now that they're listening to it, or about to listen to it, what have they got in it?
What they've got in it is the Sunday Sermon.
Yeah.
They've got the listography.
Yeah.
They've got heroes and villains,
Yeah.
and a complete analysis of the tremendously riotous situation in the south of France in Marseille, and I look forward to what's happening next.
Absolutely right, don't want to miss it. It's fantastic. We are the Two Mics. Good afternoon, I'm Mike Graham, he's Mike Parry, you're listening to the Two Mics on the warm-up. We're keeping you entertained throughout the afternoon, well, for a bit of it anyway. Here we are again, headlines about disappointment, headlines about fighting in the streets of Marseille. It's also terribly familiar, isn't it? Roy Hodgson says England were unlucky to concede an injury time goal, but is it really that simple? What is it about England, and can it ever be any different? We'll be finding out what Mr Parry's views are. We'll be giving you the heroes and villains of the Euros opening weekend. 08717 223344. Today, Northern Ireland take on Poland. Can they do a Wales and thrill their fans in Nice? It's all live on Talk Sport, of course. You're listening to the Two Mics with me, Mike Graham, and Mike Parry on Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mics. Slightly confusing that they played the wrong music.
What's that music?
I don't know. I think somebody's hacked into the system.
It didn't even sound like a tune to me.
No.
It sounded like somebody with a stammer was playing the guitar or something.
One of those kind of boxes that you squeeze that's been turned into some kind of electronic pulse.
Mum's got a squeeze box, Daddy doesn't sleep at night. Is that
very good, yeah.
Mama's got a squeeze
Try not to
box,
sing, that's a Who song.
Daddy doesn't sleep at night.
We're supposed to be talking about the Euros, because there's an awful lot to get on with. And you know why? We've only got 2 hours, because it's a very short show, because there's live football coming up. We've got Croatia versus Turkey, Group D at 2. We've got Poland, Northern Ireland in Nice, and we've got Germany, Ukraine, or Ukraine, as Mr Brazil called them, in Lille.
Yeah, that's 2, 5 and 8, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Just like yesterday.
Germany kick off then at 8 o'clock in Lille. That's the one to watch.
That.
Yes, I know, but I'm emphasising, I have predicted Germany will win this competition.
Have you?
So that is a game I will have my beady eye on, okay?
Okay, all right.
Now then, first of all, the disgraceful scenes over...
First of all, a very good afternoon to you.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Nice to see you.
It's actually morning.
Thanks for... oh, sorry, it is,
Yeah, things right?
Yeah.
Do you know what planet you're on? I don't know what time of day it is.
No, well,
do you know what day it is?
Confused by the music.
Yeah, well, that's confused me a bit as well. Anyway, there we go. Now, the disgraceful scenes over in Marseille.
Yeah.
What a shame and a slur in our country. I thought we'd left all that behind. I honestly thought that we'd grown up, we got civilised, we, reorganised and restructured our society, and that was all in the past.
Apparently it isn't.
You have to say high level of provocation.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, there are French hooligans, right? It would seem. There are Russian hooligans and there are English hooligans.
There seems to be a lot of Russian hooligans.
I don't think any of that. The provocation has nothing to do with, kind of in any way saying that it's acceptable.
Yeah, the Russian guys are a class apart in nastiness.
Have you seen those guys with the black Locomotive Moscow T-shirts?
I have. And have you seen them picking up chairs and smashing them over people's heads? And they don't seem to care whether the people whose heads they're smashing are football fans or not.
No.
And it doesn't surprise me to know that one guy now is in critical condition.
I think there's two, actually.
There's two, in critical condition. Now, all I can say is, and this is not a defence of the people who were there, is that in maybe 15 years of travelling around the world with England, right, and mostly my role was to be out there on the streets with the fans, to be in the stadiums, with the fans, not with the footballers, not doing the football part of it, but doing everything else. The people that I've seen following England around the world are 99.9% great people. They're decent. And do you know why? Because it's big for them. They usually come from places like Rotherham and Prestatyn.
When you saw the pictures last night after the game of the Russians, sort of more or less storming and terracing. And I mean, there's a lot of women involved there. There's a lot of young kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shocking scene, really.
Yeah, it's a truism to say that the majority of fans who travel with England from this country are not fans of the big clubs, because the fans of the big clubs are happy that their clubs give them enough glitter in life as well in regard to the world of football.
Right.
But the fans from the smaller clubs, from Peterborough, from Rotherham, from I don't know, all sorts of places.
But where are these hooligans
Island.
from then? Where are they coming from?
Well, I don't know.
Because because I mean, you're in your capacity, and I'm very serious for a moment. Yeah. You were in the middle of what happened in Ireland that time in Dublin as an FA employee.
Exactly.
At that time.
Yeah.
I mean, supposedly these characters have been banned from travelling, have they not? Supposedly the police are in France spotting hooligans, spotting troublemakers.
Right,
I don't understand why they're not being put on a bus and brought back to England.
Isn't the biggest issue addressed in the world today day the movement of peoples into Europe. And if that's the case, then, you're up against it trying to stop a few hooligans who are determined to get into Marseille.
Yeah.
The last time I was involved in anything like that was the time you accused me of stealing the tickets off the boy whose face was smashed to pieces with a tear gas canister.
That was in Italy.
That was in Italy. That was in Turin when England were playing Italy, and he copped a tear gas canister straight in the face.
I didn't accuse you of doing it. You admitted to doing it.
Well, I did relieve him of the tickets because he was so ill he wasn't going to be able to go to the next England game. So I didn't want them to be wasted, know. But I didn't have a chance to ask him because he was in a coma.
Yeah.
So, but they were on his bedside table. But that's that's another story.
While we're talking, I've just seen that UEFA have opened disciplinary proceedings now against the Russian Football Union.
Yes.
After crowd disturbances at that game against England. But I don't know what that will mean.
Well, we don't know what it means, but it's a terrible scar in our country. It's hateful, and I know that the people that I'm talking about are not involved. They're very well marshalled. They're very well run. You've got to remember that the FA have a big part in the control of fans who travel abroad through the England Travel Club and all that kind of stuff. So they're not those people, believe me.
Right.
Because these are lovely middle-aged, middle-class people who come from, as I say, great towns in Yorkshire and Lancashire and Essex and Wiltshire. They really are. And so I don't know who these people are. Now then, I would say there's a feel-good factor across the country today. But you know what? Yeah. The feel-good factor is about Wales. Well, it's not about England.
Well, when you saw the England team last night, literally sort of holding their heads in their hands, collapsing onto the pitch, you would have think they'd have lost. Roy Hodgson, who was interviewed afterwards, said that he believed that they played very well, believed that they were unlucky, but all he could hope for and all he could offer for the next game was that he hoped it didn't happen again.
Yes.
He hoped.
Yes.
He hoped.
No, I totally agree with you, Mike. And he was full of remorse at the end. And, if it'd been Chris Coleman would have found something in it to have lifted his nation, not to have made them maudlinly depressed at losing a lead in the added on time.
But, Wales are going to go into this game favourites, aren't they?
Of course they are.
How much more buoyed must they be, if you'll pardon the expression,
by
what happened?
They are. Do you know what? The TV angle of the equalising Russian goal?
Yes.
You could see going in the minute it left the boy's head, couldn't you? Yeah, because the camera was right behind his head, and as he went up, and
he's already about a foot taller than Smalling, right?
He is, and he put exactly the right amount of pressure on it. It was what I would call a headed lob, if you know what I mean.
Vasily Berezutski.
Berezutski, that's right. And it wasn't a power header. It wasn't a bullet header. He almost, it was like a tennis lob, really. He just put enough pressure on it.
What was Joe Hart doing?
I don't know.
What was he doing?
Well, that's why I think the skill of the Russian was to put it out of the reach of the goalkeeper and let it drop in on the other side. It was a well-constructed goal.
Yeah, but he half came for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost one of those goals maybe no goalkeeper could ever save because you're never going to get to the ball as it came out.
The only way you save it is stay on your line.
You can be very critical of individual players, but I have to say James Milner, when he came on, which was a bizarre substitution anyway, I don't know if you noticed that when he went out to try and, close down the guy who made the cross, I mean, the guy just literally walked around him.
He did. He danced around him. No, he danced around him. I totally agree.
So I just don't understand.
It was like you're absolutely. It was like Milner thought the whistle had gone or something. I got the impression
ambling out towards him.
That's right.
And the guy, didn't even make any effort to challenge him at all.
No,
shocking.
I know.
Absolutely awful.
But
anyway,
I
got into a bit of a Twitter spat last night with some England fans because at half time I was asking the question, why is Harry Kane taking the corners?
Yes.
What's
he took him in the last game.
Yeah, I know.
And people were asking the questions.
Yeah, but you remember when he was taking him in the last game, everyone was saying, this is Hodgson's secret plan to confuse everyone because, of course, he won't do that in a real tournament. Yeah. And it turned out he did.
He did, yeah.
And people were saying, why are you being negative? It's been a very positive first half. Very positive first half, but no goals.
But I've never understood that. Steven Gerrard used to take the corners at Liverpool. Yeah. Steven Gerrard is the best in the world at loitering on the edge of the penalty area for a ball that comes out from a corner.
And you're not going to tell me that if Harry Kane hadn't been in the centre of the penalty box and the corner comes over, he might not have just had a chance to stick it in.
Exactly.
So once again, here we are after all this, rah-rah, England have got the best young team at the Euros, they've got the best young talented group of people ever. They're going to go to the Euros, they could win it. Yeah. Now suddenly, it's all crestfallen, it's all, here we go again.
It is crestfallen, you're absolutely right.
It's just awful.
And that's symptomatic of the way the squad is constructed, the mechanic of the squad and the interplanetary relationships between players, coaches and staff. And I agree with you. And Roy Hodgson didn't do anybody any favours looking like an Undertaker at the end of the game.
Well, as you said,
it was a very time when he should have looked not like an Undertaker, but a man who was in charge of a supersonic Concorde.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, as you said to Alan Brazil and Joey Bartlett on Sports Breakfast, I mean, why did he take Rooney off? Yes, he might have been tiring, but I mean, the one good thing is that all those people who were saying, don't take Rooney to the tournament, has proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he can play in that position.
Absolutely. I thought he was man of the match, and he's great. But as I said, he's no Paul Scholes. But you know what? Why is it that I can learn from the history of I can learn from the lessons of the past, and yet Roy Hodgson and football managers can't?
Yeah.
Ever since Alf Ramsey...
What have you learned from the past?
From the past, ever since Alf Ramsey took off Bobby Charlton and Alan Ball in 1970 against West Germany, as it was then, when we were 2-0 up, what have I always said to any manager who's in charge of a team that's winning and has found its rhythm? Don't disturb the rhythm.
Well, they should have brought Vardy on.
Do not disturb the rhythm,
They should have brought Vardy on instead of Wilshere.
Well, he should have started. He'd have started in my lineup. But I mean,
he would have done, yeah.
But you're right. It was either Al, or I think it was Al, actually, or Joey, who said that 10 minutes into the start of the second half, when England didn't appear to be putting the foot on the accelerator, that's when the substitution should have come.
Exactly.
And Vardy should have been one of them. So, look, we all live and learn, but I hope we've learned from from this positively.
It might be too late. I mean, lose to Wales and that's it. Good night, Vienna. Au revoir. A bientôt.
I totally agree.
See you in 2 years.
And do you know what?
In Russia, maybe.
Do you know why Wales have such a huge advantage now in the game on Thursday? Because they're virtually through. 3 points in that situation when the third place team in 4 of the... Don't worry about the time. Don't worry about the time. You're obsessed about the time. The third place team in 4 of the groups, that's half the groups, will get through. Wales have almost virtually qualified.
I have.
I mean, it's, you know...
And if they qualify in first place, they've got an easy game.
Yeah, they have indeed.
This is Talk Sport. Now, we've got some big games coming up this afternoon.
Oh, you bet.
We've got lots more to talk about, of course, as well, because we've got to talk about Dingwalls, our show on Friday
Dingwalls
night,
on Friday night.
Great success, I have to say.
Oh, it was a brilliant success. Thank you to everybody who came. And I must tell you the story. Those who were there will have witnessed this, but those who weren't won't, of the madman who tried to storm the stage and attack Mike Graham and shouting explosives at him and hated him and all this kind of stuff.
There may have been a bottle coming my way as well.
Yeah, it was lucky I stayed.
Although you didn't even know that it was happening.
No, I didn't actually.
No.
I was on the other side
how
of the
you're going to tell the story. It's going to be an interesting puzzlement. Coming up next, Keith Gillespie's going to join us from Nice. He's going to give us his view on the Northern Ireland team. We will have to get to those stories about Dingwalls, though, because it's a very short show, this. So you're going to have to temper your sentences, because you've got a tendency to
ramble.
To ramble a little bit.
What do you think my name is, Hodgson?
We're all over at 2 o'clock, so we've got a lot of stuff to get in.
Also, there was a rather noisy gentleman in the front of the stage who I had to tell to go away.
You did, yes. A bit of heckling. Well, it was kind of rock and roll event, wasn't it?
It was.
It was
amazing place, Dingwalls. When you think we were in the dressing room, which has been occupied by who?
The Ramones.
Foo Fighters. Coldplay.
Various others. I mean, hundreds of other bands.
Coldplay are on tour,
I know.
And they're ending up at Wembley, aren't they?
Are.
But they're in Glasgow, I think, soon.
Oh, are they?
Or have they been in Glasgow?
Do you want to go?
Well, no, but I do you know what I heard the other day?
What?
Just on the television, but I'm going to go out and buy the CD now.
Yeah,
I heard the best of the... Hang on, I've forgotten who it is.
Best of what?
The best of... They said, get this now. And I thought, well, they're nice songs. I only heard about 7 seconds of each one.
Right.
The best of the Stone Roses.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, with Axl Rose singing?
No, he doesn't work for them, does he?
No,
no.
He's currently on loan to AC/DC.
Oh, that's right, yeah. But it sounded good. I thought, I'll go and get it.
Yeah, they are good.
What I like to do now...
See the time, by the way. Look at the state of it.
What I like to do now is I've got a magic machine at home that I can put my headphones in, plug in, lie on the couch and close my eyes and listen to music. It's great.
Really?
It's a new way of listening to me, yeah.
How's it a magic machine?
Well, it's not actually. It's my laptop, and I didn't know how to do it before, so I've just discovered it.
Mike carried his magic laptop.
Yeah, that's
that
right,
could be a film.
Yeah.
This is Talk Sport. Keith Gillespie, of course, a man who has got many, many caps, 86, I think, for Northern Ireland. Keith, very good morning to you. Afternoon. No, morning.
Good morning.
Yes,
afternoon.
Yeah,
it's afternoon to you, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Because you had a bit of a late night, I hear, last night.
Yes, I put that down to Colin Murray.
Do you?
He's
a terrible man. He's a very bad influence. You shouldn't be hanging around with people like that.
Disgraceful.
Now, what is it looking like in Nice? We've heard, just ahead of the game, we were being told that the Poland fans were hanging out with the Northern Ireland fans and it was all a very nice situation. And then suddenly some of these French ultras turned up and it all got a bit nasty.
Yes, to be fair, it was Colin actually who informed me of this because I flew over last night, so I missed what sort of small sort of trouble there was, but it certainly wasn't the Polish fans or the Northern Ireland fans. It was these sort of French ultras, whatever they're called, who sort of instigated it. But everyone was getting along great, and that's what you want. Obviously we're wanting to do one, do one on Poland today, but. Right. It's nice that the fans can actually just get along and enjoy it.
Well, hopefully the football will be the focus of it all this afternoon. You're co-commentating on it this afternoon for Talk Sport, and fantastic what Northern Ireland have done. Isn't it? The first fifth-seeded country to win a European Championship qualifying group. 30 years since they were at the 1986 World Cup. What are you expecting from them?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think just qualifying for this tournament is success in itself. Anything we really do now is a bonus. But in saying that, I really feel that we have a chance of getting out of this group because of the sort of the format where you can come third and possibly qualify. I think maybe one win from those 3 games and you've got quite a good chance of progressing. So. It's a tough group. The game today, I think it's really important that we don't lose it. Right now I would take a point and then go into the Ukraine game and hopefully get a victory then. But it's just great for the country. We're a little country, and at times we do. Punch above our weight, and certainly this is one of the occasions.
Yeah, it is, Keith. Now, you must be, as a Northern Ireland man, you must be very inspired by what Wales have done. They're very similar position to you, a small country within, a big footballing bloc, which is the United Kingdom. But look how Wales went out there with the attitude that we've got nothing to lose, and they got themselves a result. Do you think that same attitude is the way Northern Ireland should approach it?
I think so. I mean, we're in such great form at the minute. Coming into this tournament, out of the 24 teams, we're actually the best team in form. So, that's an achievement in itself when you look at the country.
Of course it is, yeah.
In the Euros. So, Wales were absolutely fantastic yesterday, and they're pretty much the same. It's been a long time since they've been to major finals, and they went out there and played with no fear whatsoever. And fully deserved the victory. And, I expect Northern Ireland to sort of go out with that same sort of mentality today.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, you could by the end of today, Keith, it could be that Northern Ireland and Wales have eclipsed England in the early stages of this competition. What a remarkable feat that would be.
I mean, exactly. I mean, not many people would have predicted that. So,
yeah.
We've got a great opportunity. Michael O'Neill has done absolute miracles with
brilliant
the team.
job.
What is it that he's done exactly? I mean, he seems to get a lot of things right. I was reading about how he's allowed the players to bring pictures of their families and stuff that he's got up in their kind of in their HQ, and they've got pool tables, and he's making sure they don't get bored. And I mean, what's he doing that nobody's done before?
And I know. I mean, it's sort of hard to actually pinpoint what he's actually changed, because a couple of years ago when he came in and took the job, people were sort of questioning after one campaign, was he the right man? The IFA stuck by him and gave him that chance. And I mean, he's very methodical in what he does. Very meticulous in his preparation. He's got a great backroom staff, and particularly, it was a great call by him bringing in the likes of Jimmy Nicholl, who's experienced World Cups before, and just bringing him in to the setup was like a masterstroke, really. And he's transformed. You look at the likes of Kyle Lafferty, who a couple of years ago he was on a sort of downward sort of spiral, and he's just totally picked him up. And he was our key man in the Euros, and certainly a player that we need to be on firing on all cylinders in this championship.
Right. And how good are Poland? I mean, we've been hearing that they haven't ever won a game in a sort of in a finals Euro competition, which is kind of surprising, isn't it?
I mean, of course it is. They're always very well organised, and you got players like Lewandowski. You've got a chance of winning games, and he's going to be a player that we need to sort of try and keep quiet, because I think if you keep him quiet, you've got a chance of winning the game. But that's not to say they don't have other good players, so it's very important that we don't just focus on Lewandowski, because they have got quality players, and they will hurt you, but. It's certainly a game where I feel as if we can get something out of it.
Sure. The great thing about Northern Ireland, Keith, is that a lot of the players play better for Northern Ireland. They have been playing for their clubs. That must be down to Michael O'Neill, and his history is so interesting because he'd never actually worked in big time football, had he? He came from Shamrock Rovers, but somehow he gets more out of the players than the clubs do.
Exactly. I mean, Kyle Lafferty is the perfect example.
Yeah.
And I think Kyle, he relishes the fact that I think he feels appreciated playing for Northern Ireland. He likes the fact that he's our sort of talisman, who's going to score the goals. But he's sort of just transformed other players' careers.
Sure.
And, we've got such fantastic support, and you know, I was very fortunate to play 86 times for Northern Ireland, and it meant so much to me. But just actually going out there in front of the supporters that we have, you know, gives you an unbelievable boost. And I think, you know, players like Kyle Lafferty revel in that sort of situation.
Yeah,
absolutely right. So it all gets underway. All eyes on Leeds from 5 o'clock. Keith, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, Keith.
Keith Gillespie there, a man with 86 caps, of course, for Northern Ireland, and he's going to be co-commentator on TalkSport this afternoon. This is TalkSport. We are the two mics. We're doing the warm-up until 2 o'clock. Very short show today, so we've got to try and squeeze an awful lot into it. Because we've got to do heroes and villains. We've got to do listography.
Yes.
If you want to do anything for us and suggest a listography for us, which is 3 favourite things or 3 horrible things, just hashtag
Let us know, please.
And tweet it, please, at the two mics.
Yes.
Now, we will talk about Dingwalls. We keep promising to. But
of course.
We're racing through a few things here. Let's have a look at some of the papers this morning. Because, as we said at the top of the show, unfortunately, it's a bit of a similar, same old story, isn't it? You know, disappointment on the pitch and really, really horrible scenes off the pitch.
Yeah, terrible.
And the papers, in some of them anyway, on the front, have encapsulated both, haven't they?
I'll tell you what, the Observer's done it very well. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the Observer, but they've done the top of the front of their paper. Violence mars England's opener at Euros. 2 supporters critically ill amid bloody clashes, and a really horrifying picture of these tattooed, shirtless yobbos. Yeah. I don't know if they're English.
It's not clear whether they're English or French or Russian.
I've no idea, or Russian, but terribly unhappy scenes. Now, I'm delighted the Observer put that on there, because there's one thing that's boring me to death at the moment. It is the debate about Brexit, Euro exit, or whatever. And it just dominated every paper for so long that people are now turned off. People don't want to read it. You know what I mean?
Well, the Sunday Telegraph have done that, haven't they? Got, like, PM's Brexit pensions warning.
Oh, it's
so what?
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
The Sun, as you would expect a red top to do, have done the football very, very well indeed as well. Yeah. They've got Wayne Rooney looking shattered as the moments of realisation that Russia have equalised. England faced misery last night as the 3 lines Euro 2016 hope was marred by fan violence, and victory on the pitch was snatched away in added time. So they've got Sickener, which is a great headline that encompasses everything. It's Sickener for Wayne Rooney, the shock on his face, but also in a panel on the front as well, they put the bloodied face of an England fan. They call this an England fan with a head injury is helped by rescuers, blood pouring down his face, his white T-shirt spattered with blood, 2 critical in fan violence, late leveller stuns 3 lines. So the Sun have really combined that very well indeed. Whoever laid that front page out, congratulations, you are a craftsman.
Absolutely. I quite like the front page of the Man on Sunday's sports section, back in the dark ages. They've done that similar picture.
Excellent. I like that. I like that very much indeed, because that says everything about what I said in the opening of this show. I thought this had gone 25 years ago.
Right, but they also managed to get in, England's late blow, but joy for Wales, and they've got Gareth Bale on there, of course, as well. It's a bit unfortunate in a way for Gareth Bale that Wales and England played on the same day. Because obviously otherwise he would have probably got all the back page headlines.
No, not really. Not really, because as far as I'm concerned, the comparison between Wales and England means that Wales came out on top. Not only with the result, but in terms of the sort of spirit.
He's not getting many of the headlines.
No, you're right.
Well,
you're absolutely right, because, of course, Wales have only got 3 million people, and in this country there's 60 million, so you're absolutely right.
Now, when you said that you were bored to death with what you were about to say, and you said Brexit, I thought you were going to say bored to death with the old Queen's birthday, because that's been going on for quite a long time, and a lot of the papers have got pictures of either the Queen or various members of the royal family because of the Trooping the Colour yesterday.
I agree.
Because I have to say, I woke up yesterday morning slightly later than planned, because I've been out rather later than planned as well.
After Dingwalls.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And I put the TV on, I thought I'd just catch up on what the news is from France and all the rest of it. And it was the Trooping the Colour. It was on BBC, it was on Sky, and it was live, and it went on for hours and hours. So I had it on in the background. I thought, well, surely this is going to end soon.
Yeah, but it hasn't. I agree. What did you think of the colour of the Queen's dress?
I liked it.
I thought it was odd.
Very vibrant. It's a coat and a hat, it's not a dress.
Coat and a hat, that's right,
She's on the front of the Telegraph.
Yeah, that's right. But she looked to me... Yes, that's right. It just looked like, not Velcro. What's the one I'm looking for? High visibility.
Oh, right.
Looked like a high visibility coach. It looked like she might be out doing a bit of
sort of neon,
bit of work on the roads or something, filling in a few potholes or something.
Did you see the poor guy that collapsed, by the way?
The soldier. It always happens, doesn't it?
And then somebody has to run on and sort of cart him off.
Yeah,
they never mention it on the commentary.
No.
They should. Why don't they mention it?
That's right. It's like it didn't happen, isn't it? But I don't know how those guys can collapse. I mean, they're supposed to be fit soldiers. They stand around for a few minutes and boom, they flake out.
Well, it's very hot.
Okay.
Very warm yesterday.
Yeah, but it gets very hot in
He's wearing a
other
bearskin
places.
hat.
Eh?
It's not a real bearskin hat anymore.
Yeah,
it's
no.
a bearskin hat.
Well, in that case, they need to put more air conditioning in those hats. If they
Air conditioning in a hat?
put holes in the hat. Why can't you put holes in the hat to stop your head getting so hot?
Well, you can't really put holes in it.
Of course you can.
It might affect
drill
its
small
erectness.
holes. No, it wouldn't. Don't be silly. No, although it's called a bearskin, it's not a bearskin anymore.
They were originally, I think.
Yeah,
not
they
anymore.
were. They were. But the bear skin has to be dragged over a frame, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So you put a few holes in the frame, and then you've got a bit of air around the circulatory air around the head.
Now, one final one, which is interesting, because the Sunday Mirror have actually combined the football hooligans and the Queen.
I thought that was a bit odd.
Which is kind of odd, but it kind of works for me, though. You
Well,
like it? Happy at the top and inglorious at the bottom.
No, I'm not unhappy with it. I think it works a little way, but to me, I've got one here.
Yeah, where's your paper? You've got papers there.
Yeah.
I'll give you my paper.
No. I know what I'm doing.
What are you doing? You don't know what you're doing.
I do.
What are you doing?
Happy, inglorious, you're absolutely right, yeah. And then we're going to look at the back pages.
Yes, we are.
Oh, no, Neat again. That's the back of the Sunday Mirror.
Yes.
Oh, no, Neat again. Hodgson, we will get over Russia, blow and bounce back for Wales. Well, I didn't get the bounce back ability factor when I was watching you talk after the game last night, Mr. Hodgson, but if you say that's it, I'm on your side. Don't you worry, we will do it.
Exactly right. Now, do you want to start a little story about the Dingwalls event last night?
I think we should.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't last night, actually. It was Friday night.
Friday night,
you see. You've lost your senses altogether. But there I was sitting in the armchair on the stage at Dingwalls, a very, very lively venue.
We were doing the Porky quiz, were we not?
Doing a Porky quiz. All of a sudden, I heard a scream from the side of the stage. What happened next?
Well, I mean, I was standing up,
Yes.
and I was sort of side onto the audience. I suddenly heard this voice behind me and sort of shouting, "You guys are effing rubbish," was his words, right?
That's nice, isn't it?
And this is pretty harsh for a guy who's paid 25 quid to come in.
Yeah, that's right.
And it turned out he'd bought the ticket just on the door and was already drunk when he came in, and the bouncers had already had a word with him,
right?
Because he was shouting a couple of things from the sidelines,
right? Okay.
And he was carrying some kind of I don't know if it was a bottle of beer or a glass of beer, and I think it was a proper glass as well.
Right.
And I sort of was aware of this figure, like
I don't think they serve it in proper glasses because
he was lunging towards me.
When I had a drink of beer, they put it in a plastic glass. But anyway, go on. Yeah.
Well, but fortunately, our executive producer, Mr. Dave Levine, somehow managed to block his path,
right?
And sort of hold him back.
Yeah.
He got covered in beer, and the guy never made it to the stage. But he was only about 5 feet away.
And did security pounce on him?
And then security got a hold of him. Well, the problem was security had already warned him.
They stuck the boot in on him.
Yeah, I hope they threw him in the canal.
Exactly.
That's what I would do.
That's right. Yeah.
And in some ways, I was hoping. I mean, I was saying he didn't make it because I was, I was quite revved up. I think I would have flattened him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I love the. There's a great.
But it felt like a very rock and roll thing to have happened.
Well, it's smashing, isn't it? Because there's a great clip that you can find on YouTube of Keith Richard in concert in America, and he's standing on the front of the stage, and then somebody tries to start climbing on the stage, and who knows, the guy could be a nut or whatever. So Keith Richard goes over the edge of the stage, and literally with the heel of his boot, he dunches the bloke's head in, stamped on his hands, and all the time playing his guitar. Let's spend the night together, bang. Let's spend a bang. Right, I'm going to fracture your skull now, 'cause I love you more than ever, bang. Let's spend the night together.
Well, luckily it didn't quite disintegrate into that level of violence. I think you have to be a bit careful with that. But anyway, so it all went very, very well. You had to tell another heckler to in the kindest possible way, to desist from shouting.
I want to apologise to the audience who were there, because there were hundreds of them. I did use foul language, I'm afraid. This chap ran to the front of the auditorium, right to the stage, said something to him which was offensive, so I told him where to get off.
Yes, quite right.
In rather graphic terms.
Quite right. We'll be doing a lot more of that, of course.
I didn't realise we had so many very good-looking female
followers. There were a lot of them there, it's true.
Oh, there was an adorable amount of good-looking young women, including our old friend Christine, of course.
She was there, yeah.
She was there.
That's the one you're pictured signing her T-shirt.
Oh, that's right. I'm signing a T-shirt,
behind the scenes.
Well, she asked me to sign it, but she...
You've seen the time, by the way.
She had what I described as a Marilyn Monroe dress on.
Yeah.
Because, we did the Marilyn Monroe quiz last week.
Yeah, 3 out of 10.
She was sewn into that dress, Marilyn Monroe, the dress that she wore the night she sang Happy Birthday, Mr. President, at Madison Square Garden.
That's right.
Which I'd studied and would have answered as Madison Square Garden if you'd asked me where it happened, okay?
I don't write the question.
And young Christine seemed to have a similar sort of creation.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yes, very attractive.
Very, very much so. Now, coming up in the next hour, we're going to be talking to one of your heroes, Mr. Neville Southall. About Wales,
Big
of course. And Nigel Adley's going to join us. He was actually in the stadium.
Yeah.
He's going to tell us what happened last night when it all kicked off with those Russian thugs. This
Great.
is Talk Sport. Nigel, thanks for joining us. Very, very disturbing scenes, I suppose you'd say, last night. The stewarding seemed to be ridiculous. There seemed to be a lot of very frightened England fans who were running for their lives, and some terrible scenes of violence from the Russians. What did you see?
Well, pretty much that, Mike. Yes, good afternoon. There were terrible scenes inside the stadium, and really the seeds of that were sown very early on, because when I arrived at the ground a good 3 or 4 hours before kickoff, I was actually positioned at that end to report for TalkSport during the game. And we very quickly noticed that the only segregation there was halfway up the stand were a couple of bits of carpet tiles. There was no fencing, there was nothing. And when the stewards arrived later on, they were just people who didn't really seem to be equipped with any sort of major disorder. And on the concourses outside the ground, on the way into that stand, there was no segregation at all. Fans were coming through the same turnstiles. They were mixing as they were buying a drink or a hot dog. And really, it was an accident waiting to happen, which sadly it did.
Nigel, can you make a judgment on who is most to blame for what's going on here? I spent about 10 or 12 years travelling with England fans to lots of countries around the world, and they really were salt-of-the-earth type people from Peterborough and from Rotherham and, from Devon and Cornwall. They weren't like fans of big clubs, and they loved England, and they behaved immaculately. I never saw this trouble. So I'm defending a lot of what's going on by saying the England fans must be getting badly provoked.
Well, I think there's an element to that, Mike. And I also think as well, there are thousands of England fans here, as you say, are law-abiding. They just want to enjoy the experience. Yep. But I think there is an element which maybe come out for major tournaments and occasions like this, a match against Russia in Marseille, who do come looking for trouble. And I think that was certainly the case around the port area over the past couple of days. But inside the stadium last night, without any question, it was the Russian fans who were to blame, which is why UEFA have opened disciplinary proceedings against them today for use of fireworks inside the stadium, that the racism alleged, and also the violence. And they've not taken out any charges against the English FA, because last night the England fans were the victims. It's not been the case often outside, around the Old Port area, but certainly inside the stadium. At the end it was mainly families. It was the sort of people from Spalding and Peterborough who go to enjoy watching England games, and they left the stadium really scared, which is a terrible thing.
And what's your sense, Nigel? It's a difficult question to answer, I know, of those Russian fans that were inside the stadium. How many of those were the types that we saw outside with the kind of black locomotive Moscow T-shirts and, obvious troublemakers? I mean, we've heard an awful lot about the screening. We've got British police officers down there supposedly spotting hooligans and all that. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any kind of watching brief being put on these people.
Well, the Russian sports minister, Mike, said after the game he didn't see any trouble inside the stadium, which maybe tells you all you need to know.
Well, Russian state media actually put out a story saying that, the brave Russian supporters fought off, a much larger number of English hooligans, and it was almost as though, it was a moment of pride for them.
Well, that's rubbish. Inside the stadium, there was only trouble coming from one way, and it was the Russians. And as you say, many of them were dressed for battle, if you can put it that way. They had their faces covered with scarves. Some were wearing balaclavas. You're wearing balaclavas in 30 degrees of heat. If you're doing that, you're only after one thing. But they were given the opportunity to do that inside the stadium, I think, by UEFA. I mean, UEFA have opened an investigation, but somebody really needs to investigate why UEFA held this game in Marseille in the first place. It was a powder keg situation, really, and the standard of stewarding and segregation inside the stadium were lamentable, and I think UEFA have to take their share of the blame as well.
Well, I totally agree with that, Nigel, because, for instance, the 2006 in Germany, now that was always going to be a hotbed of potential trouble for obvious reasons, the historical and all that kind of stuff. Nothing happened there at all because the Germans know how to organise a competition. So I totally agree with you. UEFA needs to start getting heavy with the French authorities, or they need to look inside themselves.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much red tape and pomposity around this tournament, it's untrue. But when you actually have really serious issues, as the ones we saw last night, UEFA were found wanting. Whether it's UEFA or the French organising committee, UEFA, I think, ultimately have to carry the can. The things that happen outside the stadium, they say, are not within their jurisdiction, and you could maybe say, OK, and it's up to the French authorities to sort that out. And they certainly seem keen to do that here in Marseille. But inside the stadium, it seems incredibly naive to think that football hooliganism hasn't gone away. It's been beneath the surface for many, many years. And the way that UEFA at the moment are policing this tournament inside the stadiums is giving many people a very high-profile opportunity to bring it back onto the front pages.
Indeed. Now, getting to the football, Nigel, how much of a body blow was that late equaliser? Back here in England, we saw the effect it had on Roy Hodgson after the game. We saw the players' heads sink, their shoulders slump, but it must have been a real gut-wrencher, that, so late on.
It really was. I spoke live on TalkSport to Roy Hodgson in the tunnel straight after the game, and I've never seen him so down. He was bitterly disappointed, simply because the team played well, but they just couldn't see the game out. And I know there's been criticism of the changes he made late in the game by taking off Wayne Rooney and maybe not replacing Raheem Sterling, who seemed to be running out of steam. But I think he's disappointed because there are so many young players in that team who played well. Yeah. They needed a victory, really, to build up the confidence and build up the momentum heading into what is now a monumental game against Wales in Lens on Thursday. And I think that's the reason he's so disappointed. It was a great opportunity last night, and his team didn't take it.
No, and Wales now have the momentum. It's what the Americans call the Big Mo. They feel on top of the world. They've got the 3 points. They're virtually qualified out of the group. They've got everything on their side.
Absolutely. I've just been talking to one of my colleagues from Wales, and they said it was such a terrific occasion on and off the field last night. And his abiding memory of Bordeaux is 25,000 Welsh fans mixing happily with Slovakian supporters, playing huge games of football in the town squares in Bordeaux late into the night last night. And I think they will arrive with so much confidence now after what's happened. Getting points on the board. And I think, in many ways, it's a game I think England have to win on Thursday.
Oh, of course they do.
It's a game now. As long as Wales don't lose it, I think a point for them and they're through.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Just one final question for you, Nigel, on that big firecracker that went out. I mean, obviously, after what we saw in the Stade de France back in November last year, I mean, that was a horrific moment. You could almost tell the whole stadium kind of took an intake of breath, wondering if it was a firecracker or if it was something else. And a couple of people on Twitter have pointed out that it happened just before Russia equalised, and whether that affected the players or not. I saw there was also talk of Joe Hart telling signalling to his wife to sort of stay in the stadium while all the trouble kicked off. I mean, it's just horrendous.
It is, and I do wonder whether England were spooked by that. I'm not trying to make excuses for the equalising goal, but once again, we had such stringent security for the media getting into the stadium, given full body searches and all our broadcasting equipment is checked meticulously. But somebody can smuggle firecrackers into the stadium.
Pathetic,
what on earth is going on?
Yeah. Pathetic.
Unbelievable.
Totally
Nigel, thank you very much indeed. Enjoy the rest of the day. I'm sure you will. There's loads on TalkSport coming up. 3 more live games, of course, right here. Now, as it is Sunday, and of course, normally there's a bit of church going from your point of view.
Sorry, the church going?
You've had to miss out on your normal church going because we're here again on Sunday.
Yes,
so, We'll have a Porky sermon coming up, whereby
That's
basically
good.
I will read you a passage from the Bible. You can interpret it and tell us what it all means.
Yes, that's fine. I'm looking forward to that.
You ready for that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because it's a translation into modern terms of the imagery of a script written thousands of years ago.
Indeed, and we'll come up with that next on TalkSport.
Yeah.
Because it is Sunday, some people like a bit of spiritual guidance. It's not for everybody, so, please do not take offence if for some reason you would rather not have any spiritual guidance.
No,
look away now. Look away now. Don't switch the radio off, just look away now.
Switch it back on in 3 minutes.
No, don't tell people to switch the radio off, you plank. You just tell them to look away now.
Look away.
That's what you say.
Yeah, but if you look away, you can still hear.
No, I know that.
Yeah, well, that's
the
what
point.
I'm saying.
That's the point.
Put the earplugs in for 3
now,
minutes.
Here we are. We have chosen a passage this morning, this afternoon, from Leviticus 19.
Oh, I know that.
And it is as follows. When you reap the harvest of your land, do not reap to the very edges of your field or gather the gleanings of your harvest.
Yes.
Do not go over your vineyard a second time
Yes.
or pick up the grapes that have fallen.
Yes.
Leave them for the poor and the foreigner.
Yes.
I'm your Lord. Sorry, I'm the Lord, your God.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Can I have that, please?
Yeah, you can indeed.
Yeah, study it. Yeah, I'll tell you
Obviously,
exactly what this means.
If this is about your roof garden, you've only got to take a couple of steps to get to the edge of it.
No. Do you know that this passage, I don't know who picked this, but it's clearly somebody who's theologically minded.
Yes.
This is the passage which gave rise to the expression, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Okay? Did you know that?
I didn't realise that was a biblical term.
Yeah, it is, yeah. When you reap the harvest of your land, do not reap to the very edges of your field or gather the gleanings of your harvest.
But leave a bit around the edges.
Leave a bit around the edges. Now, what that means is that if you mowed your...
if you mowed your roof garden, you'd be in trouble. There's no grass on it.
No.
Just the Italian tiles.
No. They didn't have any mowers in biblical days, so they used to use a thresher, you know what I mean?
They use a scythe.
A scythe, that's right, a scythe, yeah. So if you go round your field and you scythe all your corn, what happens then if in the middle of the night all the corn burns down?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You've had it. You haven't got any bread.
The year of the short
starve.
corn, as my father used to say.
The year of the short corn, absolutely right.
He used to tell us that when we said, why aren't we going on holiday this
That's
year?
right.
He says, year of the
short
corn.
That's absolutely right. That's probably where the expression came from. Now, the next line, do not go over your vineyard a second time or pick up the grapes that have fallen.
Well, I imagine your vineyard would be ripped bare, wouldn't it?
No.
There'd be no grapes left by the time you'd trodden on all of them.
No. Now, you know what this means? Yeah. What it means is, it means that do not go back on situations you've already decided are done. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So you mustn't in life ever reflect on what's gone behind you.
Don't try and get too much out of the grape, you mean?
No. Do not reflect on what's gone behind you. You must look ahead to what is in front of you. And also, it means you've left resources there. Now, those resources, leave them for the poor and the foreigner. I am the Lord your God.
It's a bit jingoistic, that bit.
No, leave them for the poor and the foreigner. This is another passage.
Would that be the filthy poor?
No. This is another passage in the Bible which guides me in my life.
Yeah.
I've told you many times, I'll tell you again, when my beer is out of date in my fridge in Gosport, I give it to the down and outs who congregate across the water in Portsmouth because they don't have what I have.
No.
So, and there's not...
They haven't got what you have, especially if you've kissed the Blarney Stone.
Well, kiss the Blarney Stone, you might get, like, chapped lips or something. But what I'm saying is, there is nothing wrong with out-of-date beer.
Right.
It's just that I won't take a risk on it in case there is.
Anything stays that long in your fridge.
No, well, you know, it's because you sometimes buy beers that you know people like you are coming to visit. Uh-huh. They don't drink it all.
They don't turn up.
No, they turn up, but they don't drink it all. You know, bladderation is curtailed at a reasonable hour or something like that.
Yeah.
And so you love the problem. The other thing is, and I did this quite recently.
We're getting near the end of the sermon.
Okay. It also means if you order a Domino pizza, which when cut up properly, if you get the large one like I do,
don't eat it all the way to the edges.
No, you can have 10 slices, right? And I don't always eat 10 slices, so I often give the rest away.
Who too?
Well, you know, in New York I used to do that. I used to go out because I used to get loads of pizza. I used to give it to the homeless in the streets. But I was told by a policeman once, I was lucky I wasn't murdered, because they think that if you're rich enough to give away Domino pizza, you can probably, you know, spare a few dollars from your pocket.
Indeed.
So that's it. This is what it's all about. Again, another great passage from the Bible.
Yeah.
Lead your life, not putting all your eggs in one basket, not going backwards, looking backwards, or going forwards, and consider all others in society, particularly those less fortunate than you.
Well, it's a good message for Roy Hodgson, I guess.
Indeed.
Coming up, we'll be talking to Neville Southall. We're doing listography.
Yeah.
This is Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics filling in on the warm-up, of course. Loads of football this afternoon. Loads of talking points as well from the football yesterday. And we are now going to look back at that and come up with our heroes and the villains.
Yes.
It's going to be almost impossible to not include,
Yep.
you know, the England scenario, the hooligan scenario as well. So I don't want to completely rule that out.
No, okay.
But I think if we are going to do it,
I agree.
We have two each, two heroes, two villains.
Yes.
We just have to use sort of different aspects of it. If
Yes,
you like,
I totally agree.
So would you like to go first with your first hero, and I'll go with your two heroes, in fact.
Okay.
And then I'll do my two.
Okay, well, I unashamedly make Chris Coleman my first hero.
Okay.
Because just it's stunning what he's done for the Welsh team to get them there. And
Even though you accused him of hugging all the players too early.
All I said
during
was...
during the game, you tweeted out that, you know,
it
was another bad idea.
Yeah. Do you not remember when old Steve, what's his name, at Villa, hugged the young boy who scored his first goal?
Yes.
You know, and Villa subsequently lost that
Steve
game.
Sherwood?
Steve Sherwood, yeah. And Tim Sherwood, yeah. Because, well, you always call him Steve anyway.
Yeah.
But his name's
you
Tim
always
Sherwood.
call him Steve.
No, it's Tim Sherwood.
Especially when you meet him.
No.
Hey, Steve! That's how you remember.
No, I didn't say
Yes,
that.
you did.
Honestly, you've plagued me with that for
did.
years. So Tim Sherwood hugs the player, young lad, and they go on to lose the game. And all I'm saying is it gives the players the idea that, game over. So I was worried about it, tweeted out saying, Blows don't do that. I hope it doesn't affect them. Anyway, they went on to win. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, he is now, by a mile, got the upper hand on Roy Hodgson.
Yeah.
Psychologically, points on the board, attitude in the camp, confidence factor for the players. Wales are miles ahead. If it was all on those factors, Wales would be winning 3-0, you know. And that's yet to be decided on Thursday. He's my first. My second winner, and universally the world will rise up and agree with me on this, Rod Stewart, who is now Sir Rodney Stewart.
No, he's not.
Sir Roderick Stewart.
Yes.
He is Sir Roderick Stewart, and he deserves it immensely, because I can say for maybe 40 years of my life, 45 years of my life, maybe even 50, Rod Stewart has been a source of male inspiration to me.
Have you got his greatest hits?
Yes, I have.
Good man.
I have. And my favourite Rod Stewart song, by the way, is "She Wears It." You wear it well.
She wears it well.
You wear it well, and you wear it well.
Yeah.
A little old-fashioned, but I don't mind.
That's not bad, actually. You managed to get the words right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, my two heroes are, I'm going to have one from the Wales game, but it's not going to be the same as yours. Mine is going to be Hal Robson-Kanu, right?
Couldn't argue with that.
The second goal.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's exactly the kind of thing you can see them doing against England. You know, marauding, coming forward, you know, attacking play. And, you know, people said, oh, yeah, but he scuffed it. Doesn't matter. But the goal went in. You know, Ramsey, with his daft haircut, looked great as well. And Robson-Kanu, who actually currently doesn't have a club, right? He was released by Reading at the end of June. And here he is playing in the Euro Championships, in the finals. Very well progressed to the knockout round.
Indeed.
And I think he's fantastic. My second hero is actually away from the Euros, and it's Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones,
the manager of the England rugby team.
A terrific performance.
An incredible performance down in Brisbane. 39-28 win against the Wallabies, which is the biggest points scored in any game against the Wallabies.
Yes, indeed.
They lost. I think they were 10-0 down at the beginning of the game. So I think you got to give him. I can't have a third hero, but I'll give an honourable mention to Mr. Schmidt from the Ireland squad as well.
Okay.
They went and beat South Africa.
Okay.
So those are mine. Now, as ever, John Chambers behind the scenes here is going to be the man who judges which of ours are better.
Yes.
Let's have your villains now.
Right, my villains. Right, two villains. Okay.
Yeah.
First one, Mike Ashley. I'm sorry, it's got to be because
Mike Ashley.
Yes, indeed.
I thought you had a great deal of respect for
I
Mike
have
Ashley.
got a lot of respect for him. He's a brilliant businessman. He's built up. But to go into a Commons committee and admit that he pays his workers below the national
Well, hang on. We
minimum
talked about
wage.
this last week, and
Yes.
you said that you were very much in favour of him running the business any way he wanted to.
Yes and no.
You changed your tune.
No, I'm not changing my tune. I think he's a brilliant businessman. I think he's created thousands and thousands of jobs, and I think he's...
Where you buy all your clothes? Shop?
No, I've only ever bought one pair of shoes there. Just going to get that right,
No,
please.
you buy all your shoes there.
I don't buy all
And you
my
buy
shoes
your Pierre Cardin shirts there as
No,
well.
I don't.
Yes,
I
you
don't.
do.
I don't. I've never bought a Pierre Cardin shirt. I buy a Pierre Cardin shirt from a Pierre Cardin shop.
Oh, really? Where's that
Not
then?
from some warehouse that stocks
where's the Pierre
trainers.
Cardin shop?
Well, it's in Bond Street or somewhere. You know,
Bond Street?
somewhere around
Are
there.
you sure?
Yeah.
Right.
I was wandering past one time.
Really?
Anyway,
They would let you in Bond Street.
So, but then to go in front of a committee and say, look, I know he said I'm not Father Christmas. Fine, we accept that. But then to say that, well, no, okay, I have to accept that the workers get less than the national average wage, I think is a bit of a loser. And my other
You're
loser...
just trying to make yourself popular now again, aren't you?
No, I'm not trying to make myself popular. I don't seek popularity.
Really?
Now, the other loser to me is Leo the Lion. I'm getting fed up with this stupid mascot lion.
Yeah.
Because I know the 3 lions is what England are all about, and then somebody invented this idea of carrying the mascot around. Well, that's all very well. But actually, I'd rather concentrate on what we do on the pitch and not some stupid stump with a lion.
Yeah.
And if it's taken the players', minds off, quotes, the boredom... Maybe it's also distracted them from concentrating on the job in hand, which is to win football matches.
Yeah, maybe
so
they
Leo
should
the
be-
Lion, thumbs down.
Right. What about Larry the Liar?
Who?
What about Larry the Liar?
Who's he?
Isn't that what they used to call you at school?
No, they didn't call me anything like that at school, you oaf. Get on with it.
I thought it was Larry the Lion, though, wasn't it?
No, Stuart Higgins, who was the former editor of the Sun,
when
used to
you were
call
at
me
school.
Leo the Lion.
No, when you were at school, they used to call you Larry the Lion, because there was some lion that they used to name you after.
No, they didn't.
Really?
No.
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, hang on.
I
No.
can't help it if you make up stories that you don't remember telling me.
No, I didn't make up a story. You said they named me after Clarence the Cross-Eyed Lion.
No, I
but as
didn't.
I'm not cross-eyed,
No,
they didn't.
That's not true.
And he was from Daktari.
Yeah, exactly.
Daktari.
Right.
Remember they all
Anyway,
wore
my
those stupid
villains,
suits.
My villains are going to have to be the hooligans, I'm afraid,
Right.
first up.
Yeah, well,
because
yeah.
whether they're English or Russian or French, they are making an absolute mockery of what should be a fantastic summer of football. And whoever they are, and whatever the French can do about stopping them, they have to do something, because we can't have this for the next 4 weeks of sort of ludicrous battles in the street, people crying, innocent people getting injured. Go and take your fighting somewhere else, would be my plan. My second villain of the night is going to have to be, just to get away from England for a moment, Lorik Kana, who was the Albanian captain. I don't know if you saw that game where they played against Switzerland.
Yes.
Where he got himself completely out of position, then fell over, and then tried to sort of handle the ball without anybody seeing.
Yes.
But bizarrely, when he was sent off, sending them down to 10 men, which made it very much easier for Switzerland to win,
Yes.
despite what Roy Hodgson says, that you can't beat 10 men. He was all sort of high-fiving as he walked down the
Is that right?
walked down the front of the team bench and,
Right.
down the tunnel,
Right.
as if he'd done something great.
Yeah.
When in fact what he'd done was let his team down
Yeah.
as the team captain.
Yeah.
So, and he plays for Nantes, of course, over in the French league. Lots of other possibilities. I would have mentioned the Guardian as well as a sort of supplementary, because they did exactly what you did on the front page.
Yeah.
Sir Rodney Stewart. And his name's
Roderick.
Roderick. So
It's
just
Roderick,
for everybody who knows that the Guardian is the great bastion
So
of
you've
truth.
now named 3?
No, I'm giving him a supplementary.
No. You're trying to win this competition by offering up 3 instead of 2. You should be disqualified.
Well, again, your lust for power has got you accusing me of gerrymandering. Our man behind the glass, Chamber, will judge, and he'll tell us after this. We've also got to do listography coming very, very shortly. This is TalkSport. This is TalkSport. We are the two mics, and we're going to now pick listography for a little bit later in the show. But when you say a little bit later in the show, the show's actually going to be over
much later.
In about 10 minutes. It's gone by rather quickly, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, we normally ask people to send in their suggestions for listography.
Yes.
Many of them have sent them in, but I'm only able to see some of them at the moment. But we've got this. Best 3 inventions from Phil. Best 3 wonders of the world.
Yep.
3 favourite women tennis players.
Yep.
Or 3 favourite pairs of shoes.
Yeah, I like the inventions.
You like the inventions?
Do you like the inventions?
You want to do best 3 inventions?
Yes, you?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do that coming up in about 10 minutes or
okay.
less than 10 minutes. 5 minutes.
That's great.
All right.
Smashing. Okay. Now, Northern Ireland's the game that we're going to focus on today because, of course, they are part of the British Isles, as you will agree. I love the Northern Irish people. I worked there for an awful long time. I was there for about 18 months during the hunger strikes. And whilst that was a real
difficult period,
very dark period of history in Ireland, which fortunately now is over.
Yeah.
It was fascinating to be there and see it all unfold. But the one character I remember out of Northern Ireland is there's loads of characters, but the Reverend Ian Paisley, who now is dead, but his son, I think, is now very active in politics as well.
Yeah.
But he was such a character, and I'm not talking now about his politics, which side of the divide he was on, his religion or anything, but he was such a self-publicist.
He was what you call colourful, wasn't he?
Oh, he was colourful, I'm telling you, the devil's buttermilk will not pass the door of my church. When Chris Moncrief turned up there once to interview him, and he had half a Guinness.
Very famous journalist.
Yeah, very famous journalist from the press service. He'd had half a Guinness, and he said, Mr. Moncrief, have you been partaking of the devil's buttermilk?
Right.
And Chris was a very mild-mannered man. He said, Dr. Paisley, I'm really sorry. It was only half a Guinness with a ham sandwich at lunchtime. Half a Guinness too much in the house of God. Get out!
And he threw him out.
Yeah, threw him out, yeah. But the thing is amazingly, the way politics work in Northern Ireland is shadowy creatures are always ringing you up or they come into the bar and all this kind of...
Tipping you off.
You have no idea whether they're from MI6, whether they're from the Provost.
The Crown in Belfast, which was
absolutely.
the Europa Hotel.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a place where, obviously I wasn't there to see it, but there was a guy...
Famous for it.
It was famous, but also a guy came in one night and there was somebody sitting in the corner of the table, shot him in the head, dropped the gun, walked out, Godfather style.
Yeah, it was very exciting. But you never knew these guys were Provos, you never knew if they were from the Shankill Road, you didn't know if they were MI6, didn't know if they were Special Branch. Honestly, these people floating around all over the place. And one of them came up to us and tipped us to be in Paisley's church that evening for his sermon at 8 o'clock. He was going to say something terribly dramatic, you know. And we all got there, we're all in the front row. And he got up in the pulpit and he said, "In the house of God we will not have sinners. Look at these men here."
Pointing to the press.
Point to us on the front row.
Yeah.
"This rabble come into God's house to listen to my sermon, thinking that they're going to go out and tell the world what I will not have you in God's house. Remove them."
You're totally the same colour red that he used to turn.
That's right, yeah.
So what, did he have sort of bouncers?
He had bouncers. He had bouncers in his church, which, I mean, he had to have, really, because any time somebody could have burst through the door, with a grudge against him. A lot of people had a grudge against him. Yeah. And these guys came and really manhandled us, Yeah. And he had a TV camera there, of course, to film all this and all that. So on the one hand, he used to invite us in just so he could be seen, to be throwing us out.
Well, that's quite clever of him, really.
I am the independent voice of this community.
Presumably you couldn't afford not to go either, because you might miss something.
Well, exactly. You didn't quite know what was going on,
Michael says, you sound like Blackbeard. Or something out of Father Ted.
Yeah. But, no, it was an amazing time. And as the people of Northern Ireland have had such such a troubled recent history, isn't it delightful that the feel-good factor in that country today will be enormous, and it'll be even better if they get a result.
Well, you can imagine what it would be like in some of the bars in the middle of Belfast.
You bet.
All over the counties as well.
Oh, blimey.
Watching the game this afternoon, or listening to it live on TalkSport, of course. It'd be absolutely fabulous.
As always, football is a uniting factor in any community.
Well, it usually is. Apart in Marseille.
Apart from Marseille, I totally agree. But I mean, no, there'd be a tremendous feel-good factor there, and I would love to be in one of those, as you quite rightly say, one of those boozers down on up on the coast.
Where will you be watching the game then?
Probably Shea Porky, I would think.
Which one of your many
apartments? No, it'd be my stockbroker belt abode.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it recovered from that horrible rainstorm the other night?
Well, do you know what?
You having any problems with the neighbours?
Yeah. How about this? I came out this morning, right? I had a coat on. Then it started to rain. Yeah. So guess what I did?
What did you do?
I went in and took my coat off.
What?
I take my coat off when it rains.
Why?
Because...
Well, you were in a car, weren't you?
No, I came on the train.
Oh, you came on the train? Oh, okay.
I took my coat off because...
Is that why you were late?
No, I wasn't late.
Right.
No, I wasn't late.
Oh, you got here earlier than I did.
No, I got here on time.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, the thing is, if it was going to pour down like it's poured down over the past few days, I would have got so wet.
But you're not going to start repeating that, that dustbin liner thing, are you?
Well, I did have a dustbin liner the other day to go out to the garden to free the drain that was blocking the...
But you wouldn't wear that on the street, though, would you?
No, of course I wouldn't wear it on the street. But what I thought to myself was this, because I'm smarter than the average bear. If it had rained torrentially, like it has done over the last couple of days, my coat would have got so wet, it would either have ruined it or it would have taken a week to dry. Yeah. With its lining and all that kind of stuff.
Lining?
Yeah, therefore...
Yeah, Carl Dan coat.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Well, sort of, the same sort of thing. Therefore, it was better to take the coat off and get drenched in a shirt... Because a shirt doesn't get ruined by rain and it doesn't take long to dry.
Oh, okay.
And I would have taken it off on the train and dried it on the train.
Taking your shirt off on the train?
Yeah, I would have done, yeah.
I think
at the back of the train.
I think there's a law against that.
No. And do you see my thinking?
Yes, I do.
Who wants to walk around in a sodden coat?
Yeah.
See, so, but people don't understand that. People think, rain, put coat on. No. Think laterally. Rain, take coat off.
All right.
Shirt gets wet, shirt dries
easy. Why are you speaking broken English?
Well, no, I'm not. But I mean, that's my theory.
The time, by the way.
Right.
We haven't got much time. So we've got to do listography. Before the end of the show, because we've got live football, of course, coming up. Croatia against Turkey at the Parc des Princes from 2 o'clock.
UEFA Euro 2016 France on TalkSport.
Thank you very much indeed for all of your listography suggestions. We've decided to go with the 3 best inventions, which is a pretty big area, I have to say.
It is.
We've only got a couple of minutes to do it, though, so we'll have to be quick. Do you want to do your 3 first?
OK, well, I'll do one and one,
right.
OK?
OK, all right.
I'm still thinking.
Yeah.
The first one, without a shadow of a doubt, the tin can.
The tin can?
The tin can.
Right.
Beans,
well, I mean, you're a great lover
soup.
of stuff that comes out of cans, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Right.
Greatest invention ever, I think, the tin can. Where would food be without it?
Yeah, all right.
OK?
OK, well, that's the first one. My first one has to be the internet, really, because, I mean, we can't imagine what life was like. Well, I can imagine what life was like without the internet.
That's not very imaginative, is it?
The internet has changed the world. The internet has changed everything. People are listening to this show now because of the internet in far-flung parts of the world. People are able to see what's happening in Marseille very, very quickly because of the internet.
Yes.
And, you would not have any Twitter followers if it wasn't for the internet.
Yeah.
So even on a selfish basis, you've got to say the internet is basically a great invention. Go on.
That's right, OK. My second one, the spinning jenny.
The spinning jenny.
Spinning jenny created the Industrial Revolution, made us the most powerful empire that's ever been on the planet Earth.
Yeah, but not anymore, though.
And the sun never set in the British Empire, and it all started with the invention of the spinning jenny in Lancashire in the later part of the 1700s, which meant that we shipped so much cotton into Britain, we had to go and actually own India to get enough, if you see what I mean.
OK.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to say the next my next great invention is the radio. Right?
No, you take that out of my mouth. That was going to be my third. I was going to say, what would we do without radio?
You'll have to come up with them a bit quicker than
I will.
Radio, because, of course, not only has TalkSport been able to broadcast around the world with all the football and all the other bits and pieces that we do, but, where would we be without a radio? So that's my second invention. So far, you've done tin cans and spinning jelly.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Yeah,
What are you going to save this one from?
The third
one is the internal
combustion engine.
Right.
Because without the internal internal combustion engine...
Trapped in the 19th
century. No. Well, that's when inventions were invented, if you see what I mean. That's when they happened.
People are still inventing
the
things.
Internal... I mean, can you imagine? I mean, they used to call it the horseless carriages. Oh, yeah. They were so amazed that anything could actually move itself from within...
the time, by the way.
Within the confines of what it was. So it's there. And without the internal combustion engine, I wouldn't have had all those fantastic cars, which were babe magnets and I was going to say bird pullers, but I don't use that expression these days.
No, you can't say that, no.
And my life would have been incomplete.
That's why you came in on the train.
Would have been incomplete, yeah.
Right, OK. And my final one is going to be that great device that you introduced to us last week, the Foldimate.
This is the,
the automatic shirt pressing, steam pressing machine.
Absolutely.
Which costs something like £600. But the guy who's invented it is so smart that he's got a waiting list of something like 18,000 people.
That's right.
He's already made 90 grand.
Yeah, pay £7 each.
Absolutely ridiculous. So, those are our favourite 3 inventions, and we'll have some more listography when we're back on Monday night.
Indeed.
I guess, from 1am. We'll have winners and losers. Great afternoon of football coming up in the company of Mr. Matt Smith here on TalkSport.
Hope you enjoyed the podcast. The 2 mics. Don't miss it.
We'll be back on the air, of course, on Monday night going into Tuesday morning.